back-to-back winning the division for the first time in franchise history. They earn the #1 seed in the NFC. They earn a first-round bye. Add it all up, and it's official. If you reside in the NFC, the road to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans goes through the Motor City. You want it, you got to come and get it against Dan Campbell's Lions. That is the byproduct of tonight's victory.
That's the play-by-play of our pal Dan Miller on the Lions Radio Network. Lions get the big win over Minnesota, 31-9 in game number 272 of the NFL season, the last one. Lions get it done. They are the #1 seed in the NFC for the first time in franchise history. Woody Woodruff here in the captain's chair alongside former Lions tight end Bradford Banta. And Brad, let's talk about some of the excellent plays that we saw in this game tonight. And we start with Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, the guy was awesome. His speed is a weapon. We saw him tie a record for most TDs in a game with 4 tonight. I mean, he's just spelling everything. You don't really need David Montgomery, it seems, when you have Jahmyr Gibbs. Come on now. I know. I'm
Come on. We're going to the playoffs.
I'm excited.
We're going to the playoffs.
I'm excited.
And we're getting excited about him going, about Montgomery freaking getting ready to play. He's getting excited and ready to play. They got a week off. They got a time to get prepared. Jahmyr Gibbs comes out. He plays excellent. There's no doubt about it. With the franchise record, 4 touchdowns in the night. And the thing about it, that player only needs about 3 inches to get through. That's about it. And then the acceleration hits, and then the 4-2 comes into play, and he's down the field, and he's off and running.
I mentioned it before, the offensive line giving him a lot of help, but it wasn't just the offensive line. Tight ends setting the edge on a lot of these runs down near the goal line. That was also key. Both the tight ends did a great job setting the edge, but if you also observe, you see Patrick holding the edge out there with the wide receivers as well, and then Amon-Ra, throwing the blocks out there, and even J-Dub, getting involved in the game. It was amazing tonight, and it seems that the Lions just shook off all of that talk that they couldn't do this, they can't do this, they can't do that. It seems they've shook all of that off and said, yes, we can, and that goes to what Dan Campbell has said all year with the belief system on this team.
It's the belief system, and I believe it, and you can correct my math or if I'm wrong, but this team has been tested. There have been 9 games that have been decided by 7 points or less. And they've been on the plus side of 7 of those games.
Yeah, so 7-2 at home, 8-0 on the road. The Lions proving they can dominate, and it really doesn't matter who is in there as far as personnel. I love the fact that they can scheme it up and work it however they want.
Yeah, and it comes on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it does. Ben Johnson, another guy who we haven't mentioned yet, but we should, because how many times did they go for it tonight on 4th down? He probably dialing up play after play after play, and to see them, perform in a successful way like this, it's got to boost everybody on both sides of the ball when you see the offense doing that.
Yeah, whenever they're going on 4th down, I mean, it's funny to watch Dan walk down the field to judge on whether or not they should be going for it, and then they pan over to Ben, and Ben is already calling the play.
Yeah.
So, instead of bringing the field goal unit out there or the punt team unit.
Well, we know how Dan Campbell operates. I mean, it's always 4th down. 4th down is always good. And we saw the Lions go for it tonight. There was, after all the positives we saw, there was one negative. And it was Terrion Arnold's injury. I don't like to get into this right now, but hey.
Facts are the facts.
Exactly. And he was, stepping up in a big way back in that secondary. And all of a sudden, to see him come up on this play right here, grabbing his right leg, I believe, went out with it, that is a concern.
That is a concern. And if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm on the phone immediately with somebody, trying to find somebody, with my personnel department. Okay, who's first man up? Who do we need to call?
Well, that's what the Lions have been doing all year long. Who is the next man up? Hey, let's head on down to field level. Jennifer Hammond is chatting with Jack Campbell, Lions linebacker.
We are good luck for you. Just take me through the emotions of this victory, first and foremost.
First and foremost, the Lord is so good. He's blessed us just with the opportunity today. And I just feel like everyone put their best foot forward, played a hell of a game. We were never out of it, we kept fighting. And then I feel like that 4th quarter, we really broke it open. And I feel like that was just a great team win. Now, just got to move on. But The Lord is so good.
A great team win, but fueled by an incredible defensive effort. You held them to 9 points, 3 of 13 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down. How did you do it?
Playing together, playing for each other, doing it for the guy next to you. That's kind of where it starts right there. Coach AG, just what a plan by him, putting it together. Man, I mean, it's just such a blessing to be a part of such a fun group, and we just got to keep it rolling now.
Certainly the blitz is something that they've done so well. You guys took it to them. How were you able to keep Darnold off balance, and how much of the game plan was that for you guys on your end?
Yeah, we knew we were going to be aggressive today. We just bought in and kept fighting, kept going, and just full effort, pedal to the metal, whole game long.
A week off for you guys, a bye that is much needed. You had Alex Anzalone back tonight. How good does that sound?
It's amazing to have him back, hell of a player, and we get a bye. Just stay focused on the end goal. That's the main thing. And again, it's just so lucky and fortunate to be here. The Lord, some reason why picked me to be here, but I'm just going to keep doing it for him.
Number 1 seed. Enjoy that celebration with your teammates.
Thank you, man.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to send it back to you in the studio. That is a very happy Jack Campbell as the Lions clinch the number 1 seed as well as the NFC North for a second straight season.
Thanks a lot, Hammer. Back here at the square round table with Brad Banta. You know, Hammer mentioned it with Jack Campbell. The Vikings 3 and 13 on third downs, and that is the key down. Yep. Because when you can do that, you're getting them off the field. You're getting yourself off the field.
Yeah, you're getting yourself off the field, and then goose eggs on fourth down as well. And then also in the Lions defense, I think provided a little bit of spark with Anzalone coming back. I think he did an excellent job defending Hawkinson. He was kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And there was concern with Anzalone because I was wondering, would he actually go tonight or would he actually sit back and wait and then come back strong because he wants to play in that Super Bowl? And I was thinking, maybe. But we saw the performance tonight. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he did a fantastic job, and good for him.
All right, plenty more to talk about. Let's squeeze in another break. You are in touch with the Lions postgame right here on Fox 2. You are plugged into the Lions postgame show right here on Fox 2. Woody Woodruff alongside former Lion Brad Banta. And let's bring in sports director Dan Miller to the conversation. Dan, they said the Lions defense couldn't hold down Jefferson or Addison. They said the front four couldn't get pressure. Exactly right. Calvin Johnson, go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey. Man, what is this scene like for you to see this team come through like that?
It's amazing, you know, especially the way this storybook ending happened, you know, with two teams that had 14 wins. You know, we know that. I mean, I honestly didn't expect to beat down like we gave them tonight. We had 2 turnovers, and we still played a great football. We started a little slow, but the defense played lights out.
You are the man. I appreciate you stopping by. Always. Calvin Johnson right there. What a night. I mean, guys, one of the most historic regular season matchups we had seen in decades, maybe ever in the NFL. Never had 2 14-win teams gotten together. Only the 3rd time that we have seen the number 1 seed on the line going into that final game with 2 teams battling for it. Hadn't seen it since 1993, and everybody expected this shootout. And in the first half, we didn't get that. Lions offense struggled, but man, let's start here. That defense just shut the Vikings down. Vikings 0 for 4 in the red zone, and that's the story of the night. They didn't score a touchdown on the game. This defense, which has been beaten up, which has been injured, just amazing what they were able to do tonight. Aaron Glenn really put together a heck of a game plan, and his guys delivered. Even losing Terrion Arnold was really just, you know, Kindle Vildor came in, made some plays for this team. Can't say enough about the defense. And then offensively, they found their groove in the second half. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 touchdowns on the night, just absolutely incredible. Special teams, when they had a chance to make a play, they did. And it's really just complimentary football. That's what we talk about all the time. All 3 phases getting it done. Nobody anticipated this thing would end up 31-9 Lions. They keep the NFC North. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. They get a week off, and we're going to be right back here in 2 weeks with playoff action in Detroit, guys. So it's this is a special night, really one of the most special regular season nights in the history of this franchise, no doubt about it.
Hey, Dan, what did you feel? What was the feeling whenever the kickoff went out of bounds at the end of the first half, and then the Lions go down and answer? with the field goal.
Bradford, that was huge. And you know, as a guy who played teams, that drives coaches nuts. You don't want to give the team the ball at the 40-yard line and a free 10 yards in the case like that. So, you know, it was certainly Minnesota had scored to make it 7-6 or whatever it was at that point. And the Lions were able in that final 20 seconds to get the ball, a couple of completions, and all of a sudden you're in field goal range and you pick up those 3 points at the end of the half. And that was key, too, because you knew Minnesota was getting the ball to start the third quarter. So a little bit of momentum for Detroit. A huge mistake by Riker to the Vikings to kick it out of bounds. And the Lions took advantage of it. Like I said, when the offense had a chance, they made plays. When special teams had a chance, Jake Bates went out there and knocked it through late in the first half. But that's a great pickup because there was a momentum swing right there where Minnesota could have gone in thinking, all right, we got the ball to start the third quarter. Suddenly, when that 3 points goes up for Detroit, it's a little bit deflating.
Dan, let's talk really about the Lions defense real quick. And one guy, Amik Robertson, he was man-to-man on Jefferson all night long. And, you know, for a guy who's like, what, 5'8", he played like he was 6'10" tonight and holding Jefferson to under 50 yards, I believe.
Yeah, he and Jefferson have gone back to high school. They've been battling each other for that long, and they were out there tonight. And Amik accepted the challenge, and Terrion accepted the challenge when he was in there. But, you know, so many times this year when we've been calling the games, we have found Amik alone on the edge, making a play one-on-one, where it's like you either make the play or the other guy's going to get a big gain. And it's just huge for this team to be able to do that. It is absolutely just imperative that he came out and had that kind of game because you know you don't have Carlton Davis. Then you lost Terry and Arnold. And, guys, if you look at the numbers, what they did tonight in holding Jefferson down and holding Addison down and making life really difficult for Hawkinson and Naylor, who was coming off a big game. Look, Sam Darnold missed some passes. Let's not, you know, sugarcoat that. He missed some opportunities that would have hurt the Lions. But, man, when they had a chance to make a play, they made a play. And this is a really, really good Minnesota team, and they shut them down. Like I said to close the radio broadcast, if I had given you the odds that Minnesota wasn't going to score a touchdown in this game, they would have been massive. You'd have laughed at me, and you wouldn't have taken it. But that's exactly where we ended up with the Vikings not scoring a TD.
Yeah, because I certainly felt, Dan, that the Lions won every situation in the football game. And we were talking about this in the office while we were watching the game. Whenever the Lions had the ball at the +6, +7 at the end of the game, and it was fourth down, and they had the Minnesota Vikings jump off sides. And what was your thought down at the field? Were they just going to take the delay of game, or were they going to wait for them to jump off sides?
I think they were certainly trying to draw him off. I can't imagine up 2 scores with a chance to kick a field goal and go up 3 scores that they were going to snap that ball. We didn't think they were. We thought that's exactly what they were going to try to do. And look, Minnesota took the bait. I mean, that's a huge mistake by the Vikings right there. I have to think, even as much as Dan Campbell gambles out of that field, that the opportunity to go up 3 scores was one he was not going to give up. And I think, you know, you can afford to take a penalty there if it knocks the ball back to the 9-yard line or something like that. But, and that's just a mental error on Minnesota's part because you know the Lions aren't going to snap that ball. And yet they jumped off sides, and that was a huge moment for the Lions. But, you know, guys, it was really a couple of those drives in the second half that took the air out of Minnesota. Defense got stops, then the offense would get the ball back, and they were able to march down the field. And it just, you could feel the momentum swing towards Detroit. In particular, we knew that offense had to get going. We know what this offense is capable of, and they found that groove in the second half, and that was really the difference in this game. Defense holding Minnesota at bay, and then the offense saying, all right, guys, we will take it from here.
All right, Dan, I got to squeeze in a quick break. Stay right there because on the other side, we will get into the locker room with the players, hear from head coach Dan Campbell. Lions get a big win, 31-9 over Minnesota, the #1 seed in the NFC for the first time in franchise history. We'll be right back.
What they did tonight, I mean, it's unbelievable. And again, everyone keeps writing out how injured they are and depleted, and they don't care. It's next man up, and played their absolute tails off today. And that's a damn good offense they just played, and no touchdowns, right? Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable what they did. They bailed me out a couple times, bailed us out offensively a couple times, and team win. We appreciate it. They were unbelievable.
Jared, what's the significance of you going through all the way week 18 battle, to win the division, to walk out of that room and talk to us wearing that shirt?
Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Yeah, you never know how it's going to play out as the season goes on, but when it comes down to week 18 for all the marbles in the division, yeah, it feels good to be on this side of it and to know we get a little bit of rest here now and 2 home games, and then we'll go from there.
Maybe a little tough to do in the moment, but can you sort of put into where's the big picture of everything that you've accomplished here over 4 years and sort of this being the cherry on top so far?
Not the cherry on top. No, not yet. Yeah, it's fun. It's what we talked about when we first got here. Certainly when I first got here was what the opportunity you dream about is being able to win division championships in the NFC North and then ultimately win Super Bowls, and that's what's next for us. I think, yeah, this is fun and exciting, and we obviously wanted it really bad. We're going to enjoy the heck out of it, but it's step one. And yeah, in some other world, it would have happened a few weeks ago, and we'd be having this conversation a few weeks ago. But it happened week 18, and it had to happen the way it did, and everything happens for a reason. And now we need to enjoy this and then get ready to go win another one.
Can you exhale and realize how important it really was probably to get this extra week of rest because of the injuries and everything else? And now can you say
I will never count our guys out with injuries. Never. Yeah, sure. To answer your question, yes, getting the rest with injuries absolutely helps, but what our defense has done with the amount of guys they've had out, and they don't care. They don't flinch. They don't care. It's a mentality. It's who they are. It's what Dan breathes into them. It's what AG breathes into them. And it's just who they are as humans. They don't care. You keep taking guys out, they don't care. They just keep on coming, and they're a dangerous crew right now.
In a different world than you guys went earlier, but is there something that you can gain from having a bunch of finish on this all the way to Sunday night of Week 18?
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome moment. Absolutely, yeah. It's really cool, and we knew coming into it was for everything in the division, and yeah, it was. Dan joked about it. We like it hard. Yeah, it was the hard way, and we had to do it the hard way, and yeah, it was a hard game too, and certainly offensively we struggled a bit early on to kind of stay ahead of schedule and score points, but I thought we hung in there nicely, and that second half was really good.
As a fellow leader on this team, what's to say about Anceloni to be able to come back in this game and play like every defensive snap?
He's a stud. He's an absolute stud, and he's just been chomping at the bit to get back, and this was the perfect game for him to come back to play man coverage and to cover TJ. And we know he's a hell of a player, and Alex I thought played great. I'm not watching their tape or anything, but to me it looked like he was playing pretty well, and he's an energy guy. He brings a lot of energy to that defense. He's a leader. He's a captain. Having him back out there is huge.
Fourth down play.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys thought coming in?
Yeah, we have it. A part of our offense at certain times we'll pull it out, and we've been pretty successful with it, so yeah.
So a couple more guys?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
We saw Draymond his first 1,000 yards.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
How much did you want to get that?
Yeah, I'm so proud of him, man. He's come such a long way, and he's such an integral part of our team now, and yeah, that 1,000 was cool for him. He deserves it, and he probably deserves more yards than that, but he's done a hell of a job holding himself to a really high standard and demanding more of himself, and I'm super proud of him.
Can you speak to the leadership you get with this franchise from Sheila down to Brad and Dan and in the locker room?
Yeah, it's amazing. Shoot, I mean, Sheila's been as good as it gets across the league, and I always think back to when she stood in front of all you guys and spoke that week. That was as strong as it gets, putting her faith in Dan and Brad and all of us, and a lot of owners won't do that. They don't do that, and it's a lot easier to pull the plug in certain situations. So, yeah, what she's done, and then obviously trickles down to Brad and Dan and to all of us. It's been a fun team to be a part of, and I couldn't be happier.
You haven't been in there yet. Can you just describe the locker room?
Pretty fun. Yeah, pretty fun.
Because there is a Super Bowl, what is the celebration like right now? Is it muted? Is it you realize that this is a huge accomplishment, so you can celebrate this and then move on?
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment, but like I said, and we said it in there, like, it's step one. And again, like in another world, it happened a couple weeks ago, but it happens right now, and now the playoffs start. But it's step one, and we're proud to be 15-2 NFC North Division champs, back-to-back, 1 seed, bye week, all that stuff. We're proud of it, but this is just tick number 1, check, and tick number 2 is next.
Thank you guys. Right, Dan Campbell next, and
Good.
Meek Robertson and Alexander Roney at the podium as well.
Love the comments from Lions quarterback Jared Goff. You know, with all the things that this team has won, Brad, the NFC, the top seed, all that, to see him as calm as he is right there. I mean, I'm sitting here, I don't know how to act. We've never had this type of team before. And to see Jared Goff be very calm, wearing the champion's hat and ready to roll T-shirt, it's fantastic.
As well he should be. I mean, who would have thunk at the beginning of the year we would go down to week 18 and have two teams that were 14-2 going into this game to battle for the NFC North championship, let alone the number 1 seed going into the playoffs, but the NFC North championship with Green Bay nipping at their heels as well.
It's fantastic to see. Let's go back down to Ford Field where Dan Miller is standing by. Hey, Dan, you know what? Jared Goff just mentioned it real quick. It almost reminded me of the Pistons, almost like a if it ain't rough, it ain't right kind of thing. And we're seeing that this week and in the weeks past because the Lions have really smoothed things out from some rough sailing.
It's funny you mentioned that, Woody. Number one, they introduced Chauncey here tonight. And that, of course, was his saying, if it ain't rough, it ain't right. So Chauncey was in the house, so that's a timely comment by you. And I kind of thought of that earlier today when I thought if the Lions lose, that's going to kind of be where Dan Campbell goes. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. But they didn't lose, and now Dan Campbell stepping to the podium, so we take you up for the head coach.
You know, I can't say enough about our defense. Let me start there, man. AG and this defense, they really, control that game for us, particularly the first half, 2.5 quarters. The guys on defense, I thought executed exactly the way that we had worked and what we had talked about. We were able to apply a lot of pressure. And it just paid dividends. You know, that's a good team over there. They're well coached. Kevin O'Connell does a great job. Ton of weapons, and we were able to contain them and keep them at bay until our offense was able to find our rhythm. So just total team effort. Started with our defense and took the whole unit. But man, what a great job. Back to back. Division winners in the NFC North. Got the 1 seed, 15 wins. I just couldn't be more proud of those guys. And I just told them that to me, this has been in the making for a while. You know, it takes a special group of guys, and I think you kind of had to go through what we've been through over the last 4 years, the core of this unit, and then anybody that comes in, they fall in line because that's what we're built around is our core, and they really delivered for us today. Our playmakers made plays when we needed it.
State of the defenses. How big of a boost was Alex today too?
With who?
Alex.
It was huge. Look, I've said it before. He's really our quarterback on defense. He's our quarterback on defense, and he just brings. There's a lot of confidence. He brings a lot of energy. He can calm the storms. He just to have him back, and I thought it was going to take him a minute to work himself back in, and it didn't take long at all. And he was back to what he was before he got injured, I thought. So, hell, we gave him the game ball. So, it was outstanding. So to have him back was huge.
You said a couple of days ago you really like what AG had put out for the defensive game plan.
Yeah.
Just explain why you guys took the approach you did, even Sam off, and then on top of that, the red zone defense.
Yeah, great job there. And it was really, you look at all this. Darnold has really played better and better every week. It feels like he's just continued to make this gradual climb and continue to improve. And what you really see is, man, when he gets the play action pass and they nudge the edges or they'll max protect on some of this stuff, 2 receiver routes, 3 receiver routes, and he can see it and has time, he's deadly. And we could not allow that to happen. We didn't feel like there was any way we could let him sit back there because we did think he would pick us apart, if you give him that much time, because he was playing at such a high level with the weapons they had. And so we knew it needed to be the right balance of coverage and pressure. And we tried to bring more than they could handle for most of it. And then we had to hold on the back end. And those guys did, man. They covered their tails off for most of that game. So, and then we were able to play enough to where we could double 18, take care of him. And we singled some guys up, like Alex was one-on-one with Hawk, on a number of things. And so it worked. It really worked exactly like, we kind of envisioned it to. So I couldn't be more proud of those guys. AG laid out the vision for it. The guys really showed up and performed, and man, it was great.
You mentioned your playmaker, Gibbs in particular, at a time when your offense needed a spark. How big was he tonight?
He was big, and I felt like he gained steam as the game went on. I thought he got better and better and better, and you could really feel it after that last stop we got in the red zone on the fourth down stop, and that next carry he has where he just breaks it down the sideline. You could feel it. So he was big for us, and we felt like he was going to need to be big for us to win that game. He was kind of all those guys needed to play well for us, but we felt like, Gibbs could somewhat be the X factor here. And he did, man. He showed up in a big way in the run game and the pass game.
When you talked before about the defense being Northern Savages, is kind of what you envisioned, what you meant all along?
Yeah, I think with where we're at, look, there's no secret. Like, we have to be able to play a certain way, and the recipe is right as long as our guys play lights out. They do exactly what they're asked to do. They work as one unit, and they go after the football, And if we do those things, we can be effective. And they did that today, man. I felt like they played with high energy. They did exactly what the coaches asked them to do. Everybody did their part to a T. And you see the results of it, and so yeah, it's a special group, man. It's a special group.
We ask you questions about changing the perception of this franchise. You see almost weekly here. To go into this historic matchup, 20 wins between the two of you guys, and to leave here as a team that gets that crown and gets home field advantage. How do you put into words what you guys were able to accomplish this season, in the regular season so far?
I don't know if I can put it into words. There's so many things on my mind that I'm not ready to share, if that makes sense. So I'm no different than anybody else on that team, on the coaching staff, and fueled by different things. And so we did what we needed to do here. This was a big matchup. We were coming off a Monday night game against an opponent that had gotten us last year, and our guys didn't bat an eye. They line up, they compete, they play to win, and we knew what was at stake. And our guys they came out and played, and ultimately when you sit back and you go through a game like this, man, do we have enough? Did we, talking to the coaches, do we have enough in? Is this right? Is it too much? Have we really gone over the finer details of this? What if they do? And you finally step back and go, man, our guys are going to show up. They always do. Our players will show up and make plays, and because the core of this group has been doing it for 4 years now, and we've added to that, and those guys have just continued to add to it and help us along the way and enhance us, and they did it again, man. Our guys did it again.
Did the offense say something on the sidelines to say, we got your back on the defensive side? Not that the defense needed it because they ended up getting points after that. But what was the mood like on the sideline?
No, we were good. Our defense we had talked about all along. We knew we were going to need to play a certain type of game, and it didn't totally play out that way because of circumstance. But our defense was ready. If things didn't go right, our defense was fully ready to take the field and do what they needed to do. That was the mindset. And you don't walk onto the field, you sprint on the field, and you got to get a stop. And they did that, and they really set the tone for us.
last one. Amik, a game ball last week.
He got another one.
Well, yeah, just the way that he's been playing. He's Terrianic, obviously, but what he did against Justin, even though he had some help, the way that he's played, the lift that he's given you guys in the secondary.
Yeah, it's the reason we signed him. You know, we were fortunate enough to be able to play against him. Had crossover tape last year. He is competitive. He's as competitive as they come. He doesn't turn down any challenge. And you know, no matter what, you can say, hey, go cover that guy, and he's going to give you his best. He's not going to shy away from it. He's not going to fear from it. He has skill. He has ability. And it's not always going to be perfect, but you know you can bank on what he's going to give you. And once again, man, he showed up for us. And look, we doubled some. You know, we fisted over him. We had to where he had help over the top, but then we'd single him up too. And, you know, Amik's just been, you know, he's really one of the guys that has helped us play really good defense this year and play the style of defense that we want to play and AG wants to play, to be able to challenge more on the perimeter. It's big for us. I'll know more tomorrow. I mean, it was obviously enough to where he couldn't finish the game, you know, so take that for what it is.
Last one, guys. Did he get X-rays?
I'm sorry.
Did he get X-rays?
He did. The X-rays were negative, but that doesn't mean he was pretty tender. So, you know, we'll
Those are the comments of Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Let's go back down to Ford Field where Dan Miller is standing by. And Dan, you know what? The coach often says he doesn't care what it looks like when they win, but he's really happy with this result, so I have to think he cares about what this looked like.
Look, it's a defense that's been beat up all year, and he knew they were on the spot tonight against a really good offense in Minnesota. And he talked about Aaron Glenn right off the top and the game plan that he put together and the way that those guys followed it. And they did it to a T tonight. When you hold a team like Minnesota to 9 points and you keep a team like Minnesota out of the end zone, you're doing something special. This is a big night for Lions fans who've taken a lot of gut punches over the years, but now they're getting used to this new normal, which is winning back-to-back division titles, #1 seed in the NFC for the first time, got a bye, and then 2 games back here at Ford Field. I want to just throw a shout-out to 2 Lions fans that I know are battling right now, and they're people that are important because they're part of this one pride. World of Isaac, Andy Isaac, my brother, we love you. We know you're battling. This ride is better when you're shotgun, man, so keep it going. And Sean Egan, your family reached out to me. You got to know your family, your CC brothers, and your frat brothers at Michigan State are behind you, and you're part of this One Pride family, too. You're part of this ride, both you guys, and it means more when you're taking part in it. More coming up after this, guys.
Was it just to be able to affect the game like you guys were able to do up front today and have Darnold completely out of sorts and missing throws?
Man, it's super fun because, you know, that silent confidence that you have as a team is amazing, especially as a group. I mean, I felt like we went out there and we had a good game against them the first time, but it was that agenda or narrative that was pushed all week that we were just going to struggle, and I just couldn't understand why they felt that way if they watched the game last time. But it's a good team, man. Hats off to them, but I just felt like we had that confidence about who we were. And we at home, we at Mama House. We had lost 2 this year at Mama House. Can't lose no more here. Had to come out here and get a dub.
Those are the comments of Detroit defensive lineman DJ Reader chatting with our Jennifer Hammond in the Lions locker room. Bradford Bantha, let's chat quickly about what we just heard and specifically the confidence that he has in that defensive line group.
Golly, I mean, you can't say enough because going into the game, it was quite evident that they wanted to put Arnold on the ground as many times as possible via sacks or just knockdowns. They got that accomplished, and if you do that enough times, and a person has to get up time and time and time again. So it goes back to Mike Tyson's quote. You know, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. and that's what happened today.
And we saw the Vikings get punched in the mouth, and it wasn't just from one guy. We also saw Zadarius Smith, Josh Paschal, those kinds of guys winning their battles as well, which was great to see.
Yeah, no, it was a group effort, and it's just fantastic to see. And it's one of these things, you know, Hannibal Smith, you know, with the A-team. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, it did. You know what? Let's go back into the Lions locker room and talk to Detroit defensive back Kirby Joseph.
3 for 13 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down, 0 for 4 in the red zone. You guys put on a defensive clinic tonight, and flat out, a lot of people doubted this defense going in. What does it mean to you that you were able to accomplish this?
Man, hey, man, they doubted us. They did. They definitely did doubt us, man. Hey, but that just made us go harder, man. Hey, we love being the underdogs, man. So if they ain't really believing we could do it, so we came out here and we did.
It felt a little like you guys took a page from their playbook with the blitzing and the pressure. At what point did you know? I mean, Darnold was off all night long. At what point in the week did you know that you could be able to affect the passing game in such a way?
I mean, all we through practice, man, this is what we practice, man. So we came out here, man, we was going to apply pressure. That was the mindset of this game, man. Apply pressure, make them uncomfortable, man. You know, Sam Darnold, he had a couple good games in the past, but when it was time to see us, man, we know he struggled with pressure, so that's what we did.
Did any of the talk this?
Yeah. I mean, that's big, man. Like, Enzo, man, he's our team captain, man. He's such a motivator, man. So he's out there making plays. That was just everything, man, seeing him back. And like he said, man, everybody want to be a dog until it's time to do some dog straight up.
I was just beeping there.
Oh, yeah, my bad. You going?
Let me ask you what it meant just to have the run game, a guy like Gibbs going the way he did tonight, to be able to lean on that on offense and for you guys to get big third down stops.
Man, yeah, man. Shout out, man. Hey, man. Man, I love you, boy. Hey, great game, man. How many? He had like 200 yards, right?
4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns? God! 4 touchdowns!
That's record.
Woo! Hey, he broke the record? Oh, that's what's up, bro. Hey, man. Hey, job, man. Hey, I'm proud of you, bro. Keep going, bro. Sky's the limit for you, bro. Keep going.
Kirby Joseph, all smiles in the Lions locker room. Dan Miller, I see you down there on the field. How about what Kirby Joseph just said about an underdog mentality as the favorite? That seems to be a key right there.
Well, look, they know they've been doubted. They know that people have said that this defense is too beat up and they're not going to be able to do it. And there are a lot of people that were picking the Vikings to win this game for precisely that reason, just because the Lions, look, you're missing your 2 best defensive linemen, and Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. Your best cornerback went out. Your second best cornerback went out tonight. I don't want to disrespect the meat there. Another one of your cornerbacks went out tonight. But you're missing Carlton all night, and then you're missing 21's too good. I don't want to lose that. And you know what? You're missing Alex Anzalone for much of this season and recently. So, look, they know they've been doubted, and athletes, that fuels them. They want people to doubt them because they want to prove them wrong. And tonight the Lions proved a lot of people wrong. But as they've all said, this is just one more step. This just puts them in position to have home playoff games. Now they got to finish it off. They got way more work to do. They can enjoy this for a little bit, though.
All right, Dan, we'll get back to you in a second. We will take a break right now, and there's much more of the postgame show coming up after this.
Yes, I just want to ask you how this feels. You've got these NFC North Championship T-shirts on, and you guys are champs second year in a row, and you've got the #1 seed. What does it mean?
Yeah, it feels great. We're going to soak it all in right now, but we got a bigger goal in mind. So
obviously, that bigger goal being
Super Bowl.
February, but you've got to take it one game at a time. What was the game plan going into tonight, and how much did you know that you would be leaned on to run like you did, and what did it mean to be able to get in 4 times?
I didn't really know. I just knew we was going to do everything to win. So that's what it's about. If I'm not getting the ball, or if I am getting the ball, main objective is to win. So.
Jameer, I know it's all about the team, obviously, but you have 20 touchdowns, the most in the NFL. You were a huge reason why the Lions did win 15 games. You have the 1 seed for the first time ever. Back-to-back division titles, first time in franchise history. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I didn't even know I had that many until like 2 days ago. Not that many, but the record, I didn't know I was that close to it until like 2 days ago. So I had to get that.
Craig, obviously we're not going to get Ja to sing his own praises, but can you do that a little bit for us, and just about what he means to this offense and what he was able to do tonight?
You guys see, he's a hell of a talent out there. He's exciting to watch. He's electric every time he gets the ball, man. And he's a team-first guy. That's the best part. And he's a great teammate, a great friend, and going out there and battling with him is so fun. And just, I'm proud, it's a brother, man. Love you, Craig.
Obviously, this is a team sport. You guys passed when you needed to, got what you could. What did it mean just to be able to beat the Vikings really at their own game?
It means a lot. We're probably going to have to see him again. So, we got to get ready for that again. So.
The comments from Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs and Lions running back Craig Reynolds in the locker room. Let's go back down to Ford Field. Dan Miller, final thoughts in this one.
that guy you just saw right there, not just Ja, who had 4 touchdowns and I think 139 yards and just put on a superstar performance, but Craig Reynolds. Not everybody's a superstar, but everybody's got a role. And he played his role and has for the last 2 weeks and has really helped this team out when they've needed it. He's good in pass pro. He does the dirty work. And when he's called on to run the ball or catch the ball out of the backfield like he did last week, he's done that. Not everybody on this roster has a star status, but you know what? They all add up to being a 15-win team and the top team in the NFC. Everybody knows their roles, they execute their roles, and that's what's going to carry them forward. 2 weeks from now, we'll see what happens. It's nice not to be going to L.A. It's a tough trip for the Vikings to have to go play the Rams. It's nice not to be going to Philadelphia. That's where Green Bay's going. Lions can chill for a couple weeks, see what happens, come back, see how healthy they can get, and be ready to roll right back here at Ford Field with 65,000 maniacs cheering them on in a couple weeks. I can't wait, but 2 weeks is cool. I can wait that long.
All right, Dan. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I think there's a party at your house tonight, so we'll all be heading there after the game. Let's get your final thoughts, Brad Banta.
Team win, fantastic. #1 seed in the NFC. 1 game at a time, but 3 games to go.
Oh, I love it. You know what? This is step 1, as Jared Goff said, tonight, winning tonight, and now the playoff door is open. The Lions are going to step through, and it's going to be fantastic. As you heard Dan Miller mention, first week, a bye week, which is great for a lot of things, Brad. Guys can get healthy.
Guys get healthy, continue to work fundamentals, metal sharpens metal, and just keep moving forward.
All right, the Lions get it done in huge, dominating fashion. 31-9 over the Minnesota Vikings in Week 18 of the NFL season. Game number 272 on the schedule, and it's successful for the Lions. Thanks a lot to Bradford Banta. Thanks a lot to Dan Miller, Jennifer Hammond, Calvin Johnson even stopped by. Thanks a lot to CJ, and thanks a lot to you guys for joining us here on Fox 2. We will look for you again when the Lions take the field real soon.